Hi Virgo, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of March 2022. We're in the new age of Aquarius, which entails infinite possibility, brilliance, and chaos, which we can all see. However, there has been a big flashback to the epic of Capricorn. We began the year with Venus retrograde in Capricorn, and initially retrograded on December 19th at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn in your house of romance and creativity and love affairs. And Venus retrograde can often bring friends and lovers from the past, and particularly in your sector of romance, but it has been very cumbersome and difficult because Venus met up with Pluto, the planet of death and regeneration and power and intensity. And they met up on December 11th. They met up a second time on December 25th, and they will meet up a third and final time on March 3rd. And there's been a lot of loss since the beginning of December. This was triggering where Saturn was transiting in the epoch of Capricorn at the height of 2020, when we really got into lockdown in the pandemic. And Saturn was approximately at 26 degrees of Capricorn on March 12th of 2020 through on and off through November 4th of 2020. So we're going back to that time, hopefully in your case, reassessing and reevaluating choices you made in your life at that time that maybe, you weren't able to do quite what you wanted to do. It was really restrictive and challenging, and maybe you can revise this now. Maybe that's been the journey, but it has been very painful because Venus and Pluto together does indicate a lot of loss and a lot of emotional intensity. And so, honoring the pain for all of us as we heal together and trying to find how you can purge what's keeping you from love, what's keeping you from your heart's desire and from your creative expression. So we begin the month, and there are 3 points transiting in the sign of Capricorn: Venus, Mars, and Pluto, the planet of death and regeneration. Venus and Mars are the cosmic lovers, and they are at 26 degrees of Capricorn, setting off where Venus retrograded on December 19th. And Venus gets to clear its shadow, so that's a good thing. So we're getting out of that energy soon. And so Mercury's transiting in Aquarius. It's exalted there. It's brilliant. Juno, which is an asteroid of partnering, is also transiting in Aquarius. And Saturn, the planet of karma and responsibility, is transiting in Aquarius. That's transiting through March 7th of 23 in your house of work and routine. So focusing on how you can structure healthy habits, get work done in chaotic times, and be healthy in your practice, your spiritual practice, or ways that can help mental and physical well-being. So with that said, on March 1st, the Sun forms a helpful sextile to Uranus at 9:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on March 2nd at 12:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is a very innovative energy. On March 2nd, Mercury meets up with Saturn at 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that could bring challenges with work. It is a good energy for getting things done that require a lot of patience and detail, but it can be, maybe there's some obstacles with that. However, there is also a beautiful, beautiful new moon that takes place on March 2nd at 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in your house of partnerships and relationships. And this new moon is conjunct Jupiter, the luckiest planet, just by 2 degrees. And Jupiter is expansion and opportunity, and it's the vision, and it is so lovely in Pisces. And for you, Jupiter is transiting on and off in your house of relationships through December 20th of this year, expanding your opportunities to partner romantically, socially, professionally, and also to partner in a healthy way with yourself. And the sun is transiting there right now as we begin the month, and Neptune's transiting there a while longer. So focus also on your relationships this year. And this new moon brings great opportunities. If you're single, great opportunity to meet somebody new, just good for partnering professionally. And with a new moon, it's always great to set new intentions and plant new seeds. It's a time of new beginnings, and also do the law of abundance to bring in prosperity. On March 3rd, there's a lot of intensity in the sky. Mars meets up with Pluto at 3:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that can be very combative energy. It can be passionate, but it also can be challenging. That's in your house of romance and love affair. And then Venus meets up with Pluto at 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That could bring breakups. That can be very emotionally intense. Can definitely bring sexy meetings, and it can be very sexy energy, but it is going to be heavy and intense. Those are both, Mars and Pluto are both the rulers of Scorpio, and the Pluto energy is heavy that day. So just knowing that. But on March 5th, we've got some beautiful energy. Bear in mind that Mars and Venus started dancing together in the sky on January 30th, the day after Venus stationed direct. And they will be dancing together through April 5th of this year. So that's a couple of months. And that brings in a lot of creativity and love and magic. They initially have been dancing in Capricorn, but they will segue into transiting in Aquarius, which is very social and communal and futuristic too. So this is a really nice energy. So on March 5th, the sun meets up with Jupiter, the luckiest planet, in your house of partnerships at 9:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is a lovely energy, very optimistic. Then Mars, which is the planet of passion and action, enters the fixed air sign of Aquarius on March 5th at 10:23 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, on March 6th at 1:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Venus follows suit and enters Aquarius at 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, March 6th at 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the two meet up in the sky at the very first degree of Aquarius at 11:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on March 6th at 2:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is so romantic, sexy, and fun. And for you, they are meeting up in your house of work and routine. But there's been so much focus on your romance and creativity, and you still have Jupiter opening many doors in your sector of relationships. But with Venus and Mars pairing in your house of work and habits, it's about loving yourself and about finding creative magic in your routines and in your work. And it's setting off the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction that took place on December 20th of 2020. And that is really nice too, because that brings a new beginning, because when Saturn and Jupiter meet up, they meet up every 20 years. Saturn is the structure, Jupiter is the vision. Expanding a vision through hard work and structuring what you want to manifest. So this is lovely. On March 9th, Mercury, which is the ruler of your sign, enters the mutable water sign of Pisces at 8:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it will be in your house of partnerships and relationships until March 27th. More opportunities to network and meet people and connect. And I want to mention too that Venus will be transiting in your house of work and routine from March 6th until April 5th and April 14th, and Venus will be there from March 6th until April 5th. So a lot of focus on bringing creativity and action in your work and habits and routines. On March 13th, the Sun meets up with Neptune at 7:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in your house of partnerships. This could conceivably dissolve things. It could be very spiritual connections romantically. It could be very romantic. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, but could feel a little tired or low energy. On March 17th, Mercury forms a helpful sextile to Uranus. That's a very innovative energy, excellent for brainstorming and good for you for work projects. And that occurs at 8:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On March 18th, there is a full moon in your sign that takes place at 3:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 27 degrees and 40 minutes of Virgo. And this falls in your house of self, immediate environment, and new beginnings. Hopefully it's a culmination of things you've been working on. I do feel that's actually, the full moon is always intense, but I think that's actually a very productive full moon because there are good aspects that day. Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty, forms a helpful aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer, and that takes place at 12:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the Sun forms a helpful aspect to Pluto, the planet of empowerment and transformation, and that occurs at 3:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So finding the power to release the block so you can create what you want to manifest. On March 19th, Venus squares Uranus at 7:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And whatever you think it'll be something else, but that could bring unexpected twists and turns with work or with plans. There could be unexpected meetings. It just could be a bit chaotic. But on the following day, on March 20th, this is one of two dates of the year that we have the equinox, when the sun is directly above the equator, equal day and equal night. In the northern hemisphere, it is the beginning of the spring equinox, and it's a time of renewal and new beginnings. And in the northern hemisphere, it is the beginning of the fall equinox, which is when the leaves are dying and honoring the ritual of loss and the ritual of death and letting go, which is part of the seasons of life too. And many do a ritual to honor the beginning of the season. And so honoring, all seasons have meaning, obviously, so this is significant. And the sun enters Aries at 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be there until April 19th. And it's transiting in your house of joint resources and debt and taxes, as well as death and renewal, bringing light to a kind of dark, challenging area of the chart, but focusing on what you want to heal, focusing on your money. And then on, on the day of the equinox, Mercury and Jupiter meet up in the sky at 11:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in your house of partnerships. And that brings levity and optimism for the season ahead, I feel, for the spring or fall season, depending on what hemisphere you're on. So then on March 22nd, Mars squares Uranus at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That can be very combative and contentious energy. and it could be challenges at work. Lay low with that energy. On March 23rd, Mercury meets up with Neptune at 1:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That could be very creative on work projects where you're trying to find your creative voice, but it also could uncover deception in work situations or miscommunication, misunderstandings. On March 26th, Mercury forms a helpful sextile to Pluto at 6:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good for getting work done and feeling empowered in your thinking. On March 27th, Mercury changes signs and enters the cardinal fire sign of Aries, where it will transit until April 10th in your house of joint resources, healing, and transformation. On March 28th, Neptune forms a helpful sextile to the North Node of Fate at 9:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for you, that could bring very spiritual and fated encounters. And it's a very lovely flow of energy. I wish you a lot of luck. Venus clears its shadow in the beginning of the month. There's a lot of beauty with Venus and Mars transiting together. And Jupiter and Neptune are also transiting together in your house of partnerships. And they will become conjunct on April 12th at 23 degrees of Pisces. But that's a very manifesting energy. So a lot of focus on manifesting relationships of all kinds. I wish you a lot of luck, Virgo, and thank you.